Hi and welcome to mylapharp.com. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the proper way to tune up your lap harp. Now lap harps are just like any other musical instrument out there that has strings like a guitar, bass, violin, ukulele, and that is they will eventually need some kind of a tune-up, and they go out of tune for various reasons. One is because simply from playing the instrument over a period of time, pulling on the tension of the strings will loosen them up so they'll go a little bit flat. Sometimes if you're traveling with your instrument and they get knocked about in a bag and you're traveling or whatever, they can go out of tune that way. Or even from the weather, maybe going from a hot, dry climate to a colder, damper climate. These are made of wood, so wood will react to the environment. Now I'm going to show you this harp on the left. This is a properly tuned lap harp. Listen to how it sounds. Very nice, right? Now let's listen to this harp on the right. See how that sounds. Whew. I don't care how skilled of a musician you are, there's no way you're going to make this harp over here on the right sound good. So I'm going to show you today how to properly tune this instrument. So the tool you're going to need to tune up a lap harp is what's known as a tuning key or a tuning wrench. This is the one that comes with the Music Maker lap harp. It's a flat piece of metal. It has a square notch cut out on both sides. On one side it's tilted, the square notch is tilted over to a 45 degree. That's to help you switch from whatever side is going to work best to get in between the two tuning pegs that'll always be beside each other. It's a very tight area, so having an offset square helps. Slip that over the tuning peg. If you don't have the Music Maker tuning key, maybe you've lost it, or perhaps you bought a lap harp somewhere else, or you have an old one and you've lost the tuning key, you can also get this type of a tuning wrench. Usually you can find these off Amazon. Basically has a square cutout at the end. You slip that over the tuning peg and you turn it either clockwise or counterclockwise to make it go tighter or looser. One thing to note about this one here is because you can't see how far you are on the peg, make sure it's seated well over the tuning peg before you turn it. If it's on an angle at all, you can end up stripping the tool or stripping the peg. I much prefer this one because you can just slide it over the tuning peg and you can see right away how well it's over the tuning peg and making a good contact. Now there's 3 different methods for tuning up your lap harp. Assuming you don't have any type of reference note, you're maybe out in the wild someplace. You don't have a tuner, you don't have another instrument to use a reference note, but you want to find out, where's the G note, because you want to be able to do a G major diatonic scale. Well, what you can do is first play around with your instrument a little bit. It's very out of tune over here. But the top area sounds a lot better. So the top area actually is in tune. So we can find a G note up in here. So we're going to play the 15th string. We're also going to play the 8th string, which is 1 octave lower. So those 2 Gs sound great. Now let's play our low G. That's the 1st string. It's nowhere close. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the tuning wrench. We're going to put that on the 1st post. And what we're going to do is, in order to bring this up to the proper pitch, we're going to have to turn this clockwise. Now please note the strings on a lap harp are very short, so they need very minor adjustments. Unlike a guitar that has a very long string, you can tune the tuning peg a lot and you don't have to worry about going up too fast in pitch. This one here, you have to be very sensitive. So we're going to hit that G on the number 8 string. Go turn this tuning key a little clockwise. And there we go. We have our 1st, our 8th, and our 15th, all G notes. Now all we have to do is, if you have a good ear, you can go through and make sure all the keys are tuned to make that do, re, mi pattern. We know we're good up there. We're not good down here. So So what we're going to have to do is just use our E to either tune the peg up or down as we go up through the scale. Now, I have to admit, this is a very hard method to do lap harp tuning if you don't have a good ear. So I'm going to show you now method number 2. So tuning method number 2 involves using another instrument as a tuning reference. Now, when you take a look at your lap harp, all you see are 15 strings. You don't really make a visual identification that any of those strings represents a note. It doesn't look as visually apparent as maybe looking at a piano keyboard. So this is a software piano keyboard. This is on my iPad. Some people might have it on your phone. You might have a free little piano app, or on your iPad, or you might even have a piano or even a toy piano in your house. And you'd be able to hit a G note. Oh, it helps if we turn the volume up. Because each note on your lap harp represents a note on the keyboard. Now, I made a little video snippet for you to look at to kind of see how the strings on a lap harp represent or translate over to a piano keyboard. Have a look. Okay, so now we're going to use the piano to help us tune up the lap harp. Let's start off with the very first string. We'll put the tuning key on there. We'll hit the G note here. Let's hear it on the piano. So we're going to turn in a clockwise fashion until we get up to the pitch. Still a little flat. That sounds good. Now we can go one note up to the A. That sounds good. B is flat. So the last method I'm going to show you for tuning up a lap harp is to use an electronic tuner. We sell these up here at mylapharp.com. If you have a tuner already, or you have another source for getting a tuner, you can certainly do that. You want to make sure that the tuner has a chromatic setting. Usually tuners will be ideal for guitars, ukuleles, violins, that kind of thing. But you want to make sure it has a chromatic setting, because we're not interested in tuning to the strings of another instrument like a guitar or a violin. We want to be able to do individual string notes, and the chromatic will show us chromatically, it doesn't matter what note we play, it'll show us what it'll be, not representing a guitar string, for instance. So what you're going to want to do is you want to turn it on, make sure it's set to the chromatic setting, and you're going to want to pin it on. I like to pin it on about halfway in the middle spot of the instrument here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off at the bottom string, and I'm going to look at the tuner. Now it's showing me that it's trying to find a G note. It's around F sharp at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to play while I'm tuning the string upwards. It's getting closer. Now what happens is on a lot of these tuners, the tuner will actually turn green when you're on pitch, and you want to match the pitch at the moment you strike the string. It'll be a little bit sharper than after its release, because you'll notice on the tuner it'll turn green when I strike it, but then the tuner may go down a little bit. Don't worry about that. We just want the notes to match when we strike the string, because that's the part you're going to hear the most. So I'm bang on right now on the G. Now I'm going to go up to the A. So I'm still a little bit flat there. It's showing me a G sharp in the moment. Okay, it's showing me an A, but a little bit sharp. And now we've got the A matched up. Now I'm going to go over to the B. A little bit flat. I'm going to tune up. Okay, and the B matches. So you simply just leave the tuner where it is in that position and work your way up through the strings, and then it should sound pretty good. Just like that. Now, one thing I want to point out, this is a little hot tip, this is a great tip for tuning any string instrument, is sometimes the string will be sharp, so you have to lower the note. Sometimes it'll be flat, so you have to raise the note up. What happens with any string instrument is, if you're tuning down from a pitch that's too high and you go in a counterclockwise, what happens is you may tune it down, get the pitch to match, but if you just leave it at that point, the string continues to relax a little bit for a few more seconds. So you can go back to that note later and find out now the note's flat. What I like to do usually, if a pitch starts off as being too high, is I like to lower it first just below the desired pitch, and then do the tuning and bring it up to that. So I'm increasing the tension on the string, and then by the time I get up to the note that I want, it holds the tension a lot better. So now we've gone through all the strings one by one, and it's sounding pretty good. Maybe a little tweaking on a couple of the strings, but other than that, we are fully in tune and ready to go. Anyway, I know this video contained a lot of information. If you've watched it right to the end, thank you very much. Thank you for having the patience. Hopefully this video will give you all the different types of approaches to properly tune up your lap harp and enjoy this instrument for years to come. Thanks for watching.